Hey y'all, today I'm going to show you how to make homemade gluten-free goldfish. Let me tell you, I've made these at least 4 times in the past month, and each time they last less than a day. They are so irresistible, you cannot walk away from them. So let's get into it and I'll show you how to make them. All right, to my food processor, I'm adding 1 cup or 140 grams of my gluten-free all-purpose flour blend. And to that, I'll add these spices, which are a half a teaspoon each: salt, baking soda, paprika, celery salt, and garlic powder. And also, something that I think everyone will be shocked by, this is 1.5 teaspoons of instant yeast. In doing my research for any copycat recipe, I always go to the source first, meaning the packaged product, and look up the ingredients. And sure enough, there's yeast in goldfish crackers. Who knew? But it does explain why they're so light and airy. I'll give this a quick little mix before adding in 8 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese cubes and 2 tablespoons of butter, both cold right from the fridge. And I'm going to pulse this 7 or 8 times or so until the cheese and butter both are broken up into much, much smaller pieces. Smaller than like pea size even. Okay, now I'm going to start streaming in 6 tablespoons or 90 grams of cold water until a dough forms and kind of rides along the blades. You actually want this to be a little stickier than you would think, so if you need to add a little more water, do so like about 1 to 2 tablespoons or teaspoons at a time. Alrighty, this looks good. I'll just go ahead and remove it from the bowl and place it on a sheet of plastic wrap. Get it all out of there, every last bit, because you want as many goldfish crackers as you can possibly have. You'll see. Once you make them and taste them, you'll see. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up loosely so there's still room to flatten it out even more in the plastic wrap. And I'll grab my rolling pin and just start rolling this out into a rectangle that's roughly about 1/2 inch thick. Doesn't need to be precise. And now I'll put this in the fridge for 1 hour to chill. And 1 hour later, it's nice and cool and it's more firm. Before I start rolling this out, I want to show you the cookie cutter I'm using. I got this on Amazon, y'all. I'll leave a link for it below, but there were a few different kinds, and this one actually cuts out 25 goldfish at a time. I think they had another one that cut out like 5 or 6 at a time, and this one was like $6 or $7 maybe, so pretty darn cheap, I would say. Totally worth it. Okay, I'll just unwrap this and grab some of my extra flour. And y'all, whenever I'm kneading bench flour or a floured surface, I always use whatever flour is in the recipe. So in this case, it's my all-purpose flour blend. And I'm going to roll this out into a larger rectangle. Doesn't need to be perfect. It's also kind of cracking everywhere, and that's okay because it will get smoother, I promise. Okay, this looks good. It's about 1/4 inch thick-ish, maybe 2/3. I'll fold the bottom up now, and then the top down, just like you would fold a letter. And then I'll sprinkle some more flour on the surface and turn this a 1/4 turn and roll it out again. But this time I want to roll it even a little thinner and keep that same rectangle shape, but just get it to around maybe between 1/8 and 1/4 inch thick. And now I'll fold this in half and then in half again into a square. Okay, that's all the folds I need to do. This is basically the same as any other laminated dough, and it really makes the crackers light, airy, and almost like flaky on the inside. So now I want to just roll it out into a fairly large rectangle. Doesn't need to be precise, but I want to be able to fit 2 rows of the cookie cutters on it. And also the goldfish need to be rolled out pretty thin anyway, or you won't get the puff you're looking for. So keep flouring your surface as necessary so it doesn't stick, and moving it around just like you would a pie crust. And we're looking at about 16 inches by 14 inches. If you have to have something to measure, but again, like I said, doesn't need to be perfect. You just need it. What's more important is getting that thinness, and you really want to have them roughly 1/8 of an inch thick, no more than that. Oh, by the way, my oven is preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, y'all, and I have a parchment paper lined baking sheet here, and I'm just going to cut these out. See how thin these really are? And I'm going to line them up on my parchment baking sheet. So easy to do, y'all. And I like when they all stick in the cookie cutter actually, because let me show you an easy way to get them out. If you have a chopstick or something similar like a thick skewer, or even like the end of like a fork or something like that, just poke them with the thicker end of the chopstick and they'll pop right out. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out a way for them to pop out in a straight line. That would be wonderful, but these don't need to be spaced too far apart because they're not going to spread out at all. They're going to puff upwards. So you don't need to worry about getting them too far apart from each other. Alrighty, I'll just keep stamping these out and dropping them on the baking sheet. I'll line them all up on the baking sheet, and they're going to go into the oven, and right away I'm going to reduce the oven temp to 350 and bake them for about 10 to 12 minutes, or until they're puffed and golden brown. Just like this. They smell so good, you guys. You can re-roll the scraps several times and you'll get about 12 dozen of these little babies out of one recipe. If you don't want to buy the cookie cutter, also you can always cut them using a pizza wheel or a pastry cutter into like little squares and call it a day. But these are so darn cute and reminiscent of those childhood snacks we used to love, right? Let them cool completely on the baking sheet before digging in, y'all. Talk about irresistible. The crunch factor, the cheesiness, and the spices. The spices are perfect. These don't last long in my house. Seriously, not even a day, not even 24 hours. Both kids and adults will love them. Enjoy.